The embroidery accessories that come with this machine are all right here. Let me walk you through the ones that you're going to be using and needing out as we get started to work through the tutorials for the Bernina 770 Quilters Edition embroidery area. So your largest hoop that comes with it, that's the one that I'm going to use throughout these videos. Of course, there's one more larger that you might like to get. Just visit your local Bernina store and they can get you hooked up with a much bigger hoop. Love that. The little bag that had these items in it, there's going to be a couple things that you'll want to pull out. This little white box is your embroidery foot. So once you pull it out of here, I would say add it to your accessory box and then you'll have it close by. So let's just go ahead. We'll switch over the foot so it's on. And then I've also gone ahead and put on the straight stitch throat plate. So I've taken off our regular sewing plate and put this on. Love that for embroidery. Of course, when we do that, let's make sure that we tell the machine we've done that so it limits any stitches. Not that it's going to do that with embroidery or try to do a zigzag, but it's just nice to know that the machine knows you have that on. There's some embroidery needles, so you want to check out our video on embroidery needles and other needles for different projects. We have an embroidery threads video and an embroidery stabilizers video. So your embroidery needles are much sharper. You have a little pack here to get you started, a little variety pack, and also a ballpoint needle in there as well, so you can embroider on t-shirts. Now, thread net, if you have any threads where the thread just kind of wants to fall off the spool, this can go over it like a little stocking cap and the thread will go through it. I usually don't have these problems with my machine, but that is one thing that comes with it. So usually mine just sits in the accessory box. Now these little clips, let me show you what those are for. In the little pack that comes with it, you've got a little pack of stabilizers and things. What I want you to pull out is one of the templates. So those little guys attach to the templates. There's also a template for the medium hoop, and then also a template for the small hoop. So those hoops, you should always use the hoop size closest to your design size. That's always a good rule of thumb. So this is how they will attach. They will actually go on, just kind of slide those underneath, and once they do, you can kind of see that they kind of clip in place. Once I put these on, I usually don't try to pull them off, but they don't store away flat very easily. But this is what they're going to look like. When you're trying to line something up in your hoop, they will sit right inside this inner hoop and let you line things up nice and even. There you go. So if I had lines drawn on my fabric, then I can make sure that I'm hooping it up straight. So that's a great item to have when you really need to make sure something is in your hoop straight. All right, so we've got 3 hoops. Another thing that you have is a little collection of thread. It will say Metler Poly Sheen if this came with your machine. That's a great thread to try out. It is actually the smaller spool. Metler Poly Sheen is the exact same thing as Isocord on the big spool. So if you like one, those are actually the same. Even their color numbers match up. But find the embroidery thread that works well for you. You are going to find that there are some out there that are not as good of a quality. So the more you spend on thread, the better it is. You might want to skip the cheap versions because it's just going to give you more headache and you're going to think it's your machine's fault, and really it's actually your thread fault. So I see that a lot happening, and as soon as we switch to a better quality thread, all the problems disappear. The other thing that you do have is a cord that will connect to your computer. It goes on the side of your machine, and if you download the embroidery software from Bernina's website, that will allow you to send designs directly from your computer to the machine. Just have to have the computer in a close vicinity, and it will pop right up on your screen when you're ready to embroider. Otherwise, just put it on a USB stick. The Bernina USB sticks are highly recommended. You can use one of your own, but they need to be small, like a small 1 gig stick. Not anything gigantic. The machines aren't usually fond of those, but stick with the Bernina USB stick. It will work all the time. That is a separate accessory you will need to purchase. So this is one way to bring machine designs from your machine from your computer to your machine without having to do anything extra there. All right, so let's go ahead. You notice that I have left on the slide-on table. You are actually able to use this, and it helps stabilize your hoops. But I'm going to just go ahead and slide that off for right now, and I'll show you how that goes on once we get the embroidery module attached. So let's just go ahead, and I'm going to move my things aside. And you'll notice that just right here on the side that there are two little kind of fingers sticking out. Just tip the embroidery unit towards the machine and then set it down. You'll almost kind of hear it click, not click into place, but activate. And then that way you know it's actually attached. Another thing is your work surface that you have this machine on right now needs to be completely flat. Make sure you don't have machine or like tables sometimes bow, and with the weight of this machine, if you are getting any bowing of your table, these connections may not connect. So make sure your table, it's very sturdy for the machine that you are putting on here. As you notice, this machine's a little bit heavier, and this will make a huge difference while you're embroidering and everything's wiggling around. So those are the basic accessories. You'll see me using these throughout the videos coming up, and I hope you enjoy using your machine for embroidery.